Hi guys, it's Kim with Getting Bolder. Quick, casual video, but I think the topic's super important. Recently I was in Scotland with a friend and we were on a tour bus. And she turned to me and she said, "Are you looking forward to going back to the States? Because I'm not. I want to live in Scotland." And I'm like, "Well, Scotland's fantastic, yeah. But what do you think you could do in Scotland that you can't do in the States? Like, what's your perfect day?" And she said, well, her perfect day was pretty far from how she was living now. I'm like, yeah, but what are the components of it? She's like, well, I'd be in Scotland. I'm like, no. Break it down. What would be the first thing you did in the morning? You get up, and she described a pretty specific scene that she would make a cup of coffee. She would go outside to this kind of rustic table. She would have a leather notebook. Her dog would be with her. She would journal in the morning. She'd get the sun on her face. And I'm like, could you do that in North Carolina? Because I know where she lives. She's got a farm. She's got a dog. I assume she can get access to coffee. She's probably got a rough-hewn table. She's got sunlight. So I'm like, what's stopping you from doing that now? And she kind of froze for a minute. And I think that's what happens with us. We always think happiness is somewhere else. It's in the room beside us. But the reality is, a happy life is made up of a series of happy days. And happy days are made up of a series of happy moments. It's the small things that make us happy, not the big things. When she was describing her perfect morning, the coffee, the journal, the dog, the sunlight, you could reproduce that almost anywhere. And yet we don't think of happiness that way. I talk to people all the time, and it's kind of like, especially people that want to write a book, and they're like, I can write a book when I get married. Well, when I get divorced. I'll be happy when I have a baby. I'll be happy when that baby goes to school, and then I'll have more time. I'll be happy when it's fall and the kids are back in school, and then I'll write the book. Oh no, now here comes Christmas. I'll do it in the new year. Oh wow, now this is happening. I think the spring will be easier. We defer happiness. We put it off. We think that it's somewhere in the future, or we think it's somewhere else geographically. I'm here to tell you that's absolute bullshit. 90% of what would make you happy is within your grasp right now. I don't know where you are, but if you've got the technology to get this video, then you've got enough of an infrastructure around you that you can create most of what it would take to make you happy where you are right now. Because all the studies prove the same thing. Happiness isn't geographic. Happiness isn't even situational. It's not linked to an age or a place. Happiness is the accumulation of happy moments. So let's talk about how you can put more happy moments in your life right where you are right now. Ready? All you got to do is take that journal. It doesn't have to be leather bound. And you don't have to be sitting at a rough-hewn table in the sunlight with a dog. Although, hell, that might help. Give it a shot. Anyway, write down the components of your perfect day. What would you wear? What would you eat? Where would you be? Who would be around you? What would you do? Let's say you come up with all this stuff like, I would do yoga. I would walk everywhere. I would eat a perfect pomegranate. Oddly enough, that's one of the things I said to Laura. I said, how do you feel about, she at one point mentioned I'd eat pomegranates. I'm like, you can get a pomegranate pretty much anywhere. Why don't you eat pomegranates now? Okay, put together the components and be super specific. I would wear black, flat suede shoes. I would have a corgi. I would meet my friends on a Friday night, and we would drink a bottle of wine and talk about the events of our week. Put together all the components and then think, how many of them could I do right now? I guarantee you the majority of them are pretty simple. You can get a bottle of wine and meet your friends anywhere. You can get a pomegranate anywhere. You can do yoga anywhere. The components are probably pretty simple. So here's a thought. Start doing them now. Come as close as you can to creating your ideal day right where you are. Maybe it's not possible to walk through the streets of Paris, but I guarantee you there's somewhere near your house that's beautiful to walk. There's some sort of greenway or some pretty street in your neighborhood. If you want to walk, walk now. Walk where you are. Create as much of the perfect day as you can right now. What are we waiting for? Sound simple? It is. Sound easy? It's not. It kind of requires you to overcome something that I think is very steeped into our culture. The idea that happiness requires a big decision. I'll get divorced. I'll change jobs. I'll move. I'll do something enormous and life-changing and drastic. And then on the other side of that big decision, I'll be free to create all the small decisions that actually compose my ideal day. I challenge you to think about it a different way. You might not be able to move to Scotland, but I bet you can get all the small components of your ideal day where you are right now. Please do me a favor. Try. Because this is not our dress rehearsal. This is our one completely imperfect, but completely here and in our hands life. Don't waste it. Create a perfect morning. Create a perfect hour. Create a perfect day. Create a perfect week. Pretty soon, without even thinking about it, you will have created your dream life. Even if you're in Omaha. Nothing against Omaha. Please don't write me about Omaha. I'm sure it's great.